down with some stuff, and then last thing I want to do is you have a copy of the budget we're going to go through and just look at, and what's your opinion and stuff, and then the way they do it, they changed it a little bit on the ones we turn in. It used to be the board signed it. They don't do that anymore. I have to sign it, but if you agree or whatever, I want you to sign it because you're my board. But we'll get to that in just a little bit. We'll go down through some stuff since we didn't meet. You also have the June reports in here also. I don't know if you want a couple minutes to look before we get going, or do we just start?
Just do it.
Just go on it?
Go.
Okay. We'll go into old business. First one is the water lines. We'll call it still discussion. The engineer, Aaron, has not had time to come out. So we talked twice here, and I said, you know, if you come running, because I'm not waiting. So Hydrotech should be out. It's kind of the first two there about the water lines. Basically, I've built a wagon with a 300-gallon tank on it. We've got that going in the 80, I'm going to say 85, maybe a little more of that percent. All the hydrants are gone out of the cemetery. We just took them out. People were asking why we weren't having water, and so I cured that because we got rid of them. I'm not going to liven them up again because there's too many problems. So we have currently water on the last two sections, or not the last two, it's a couple roads, but the far east end, there's two lines. At the chapel, some of my elderly ladies and guys could reach down to get the hydrant on, and it's pretty low. I built a stand so they can get a 5-gallon bucket, or they can reach. It's sitting at the end, and it seems to work. Currently, that's working. I'm heading, well, anyway, Hydrotech is coming, should be here in the next week or two, depending on how he's doing drilling. They've got everything marked back there, which there was nothing, but they have to go through all the marking. And we are going to put in, I believe it's a 4-inch well, and the cost is there is $7,700. Now, that could be a little high. The reason it could be a little high is he's afraid he's going to hit a well, or running water of some kind, underground, I guess you call it well, or spring. I guess.
Spring,
artesian. With that, it takes a valve. We're going to put it over by the ditch back where I keep my gravel and stuff. We're going to put it back there. The reason for it is if it does hit that, he's got to put a release valve in so it doesn't freeze in winter, and then it'll drain right into that ditch. So there's possibly, if we don't hit it, probably save $700, $800 out of that cost. We cut some of the cost out. The wiring is already done. I have it bored and halfway out there waiting to get to him. He didn't want me to run it all the way out just in case he doesn't hit water. But we've got it in the panel ready to hook up, and everything's going there. So we did that in to save a little money. I just had cost of the electrical and stuff. So with that, I told Aaron that my next thing is to figure out, I got to get a plumber attached, and then to see if we have to put a new pit in, what we're going to do, if we're going to change the line from Sheridan in. If that's the case, then I'll get a hold of Derry Electric and Denny Electric, excuse me, Derry, excuse me, Derry. He bored my other stuff in, and then we'll get that bored in with a new line, and then we'll proceed. Right now, I've not had a leak to the chapel, so I'm thinking hopefully we can connect the chapel to that, and we'll see what the cost is to run a new line to the office. With that scenario, I want to put a fill station at the chapel, just off the parking lot, be towards the south side of the parking lot. A nice little 2 thing or something so they can get water. Have not received a lot of complaints, not a lot of people happy, but they're bringing buckets and containers and taking care of their flowers and waters, and seems to be working out. It did last year. You're going to get a few. I think a lot of it helps since I took the hydrants out because they're not there. So now, and a good note, my guys love it because they're not weed whacking around all those hydrants.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so we will work on that. Phase down in the, I'll call it in the 5-year plan, I'm hoping it's less than that, is to figure out who I can get or we can start on that new line that's out there. And then we're going to come west on the north-south roads and put some in, not as many hydrants, but shut-offs that I can control each one, or after me can control not the mess we have, and get a little bit, at least have the new section out there with water. And probably need to get water into the new road also. And a lot of it's for us. A lot of people realize we do water a lot. So with this tank I have and we have a 160 gallon in the back of a pickup truck, it's all working. We're keeping our flowers watered, our graves watered, so it's all working. The well we put in will fill that 300 container pretty quick compared to what we had back there. So we'll have a mix is what it's gonna look like. And I'll when the picture comes a little more clear and I get people in place, I'll let you know how that's going. I did, in our budget, you'll see when we get there in perm, put a little money in there to start to going. And I'm keeping the engineer, he's okay with that. He's just really, really busy, and he said he'd try to get out next week. I just laughed at him. I said, I'll keep you informed, we're okay. He'll keep going. Yeah, we'll keep going. So anyway, the well's a big thing. I think will help us, and our water bill will go down a lot because it's back in the back, and we can run hoses off of that to do the sod farm, I think. So that's a big one. That kind of the water line, and like I say, I'll keep you informed as we move on. 3 is a preacher stand. A little misprint there that Leanne put in there. It says it'll be installed. We're going to put a new walkway in there. That'll be next summer, not this summer. What we're going to do is, we got it all repainted. I don't know if you saw it at Memorial Day. It's all been repainted and fixed and ready to go. I poured a new front step, got it done. I want to connect the new steps on the hill to new steps there. So I've had Bradford come out. We're going to make a design of a walkway to finish that project over, and then I'm going to work on reseeding and making that a little nicer back there than what it is. And I think we'll be okay with that. And that should be done with the preacher stand as far as keeping it up to date. Everything else looks fine. So it was good we got it all done. So I just want to let you know on that. If you see something as I'm saying all this or in the stuff I'm doing, please let me know what your thoughts are, if there's a different improvement or anything you want to do. Improvements to cremation garden is continuing on number 2. Bradford's laid the walkways to the benches. Those are all done. Dustin was out, I'm going to say 3 weeks ago. We widened the road there by about 3 feet so cars can pass instead of having to wait. He's got that asphalted for me. That came in at right around $500 to extend that. It wasn't too bad. We got a little more seeding. We're bringing grass in around the benches and everything. The last thing in cremation 2, maybe a pergola in the back, just a little in between the cremation or the columbariums. With that, so you know, with cremation, I'm hoping it'll be a while, but we may have to look into more of those. They're getting full. The 1 in 1 is full. The 4 over there, we have some, but not a lot. They're starting to fill up. So it's something else we'll have to deal with. In old business, that's about it. Of course, the suggestions, improvements, if you need some time there, if you have any, we can go with that, or we can pick it up after we're done. Whatever you guys want to do.
I'd like to move on.
Move on, keep going?
Move forward,
Okay.
sure.
All right, any questions from you, ma'am? Are we all good? You all-
Yeah, no.
Cool. Okay, all right, cool. New business, she put it as framing monument. It's a new foundation. The third pour is, I'm gonna say about 2/3 ready. We had to stop to mow a little bit. We're gonna be pouring another 32 in this pour. I have to start doing a little bit more. They raised the minimum from 4 1/4 to 5. I didn't know that last time, so I got dinged, I think it was $90 or something like that, because I didn't have the 5. So we will frame more before we pour. And the cost is astronomical anymore, so do you remember me at budget time, okay? Each pour, so you know, not counting labor, re-rod, but just concrete's about $800 to $900 to pour. Just see at the price of this, what it's going for. Number 2, the new gutters is in the lineup to be done. The storage building needs gutter. The chapel needs to be redone. It's getting old and falling off. He's going to, the shop isn't bad. It's got some areas, so he's got money in there to fix that, new downspouts, and the double garage needs work on. So he's coming when he gets caught. That's in that cost of $4,917. A lot of that's there. There may be a little bit more depending on, some of it's just labor costs for him to fix.
Who's he?
You had to ask.
Sorry. I
I'm
retract
sorry.
that question.
No, I'm honestly gonna have to call you. I have his name right on my thing and I can't tell you.
No, that's all right.
That's terrible.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Please don't ding me on that one. I'll get you the name too. And it's sad because he did the office here not too long ago. And we put the gutter rate guards on so the gutters don't fill. Did a really good job and all of a sudden I can't tell you the name.
I'm sorry, Hal.
If it comes to me, I'll let you know, but I drew it.
Well, it's not
blank right
a,
there.
you know,
When you said that, it was, uh-oh. And then we'll get ready for the budget. Just so you know, if you look back as far the year to date, you will see cremations currently are 46% in what we've done in the 108 funerals we have done.
is that higher than usual?
It's getting up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is getting up there. Yep. It's getting more and more common.
Right.
With that, so you guys know, in case a funeral home or something would reach out to you, we charge what we call an opening fee, okay, for cremation, same as a full body. What's happening now is a lot of people are putting ashes together, husband and wife. They always have throughout, will do usually usually the husband passes away, the wife will keep the ashes and those ashes under her arm. They're neglecting to tell us, okay? To me, it's not really a money issue, but what happens is we get called names and stuff because we don't have Johnny, and Johnny's here.
Mm-hmm.
And by State Board of Health, I have to have them, and I have to have death certificates and whatever. And they think since we have one hole, that's all they need to pay us.
Oh,
So we have sent notes out that it's per person type thing or whatever, which we thought everybody knew, just so you know. So we just did a little clarity. We've had 2 incidents this year, I believe. Family is coming in and want to do a stone and is asking about one of the loved ones, and we're going, what?
yeah.
And what's really sad is they were charged, but they go, I send them back to the funeral homes, and they get told they were trying to save them money, blah, 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 and whatever. No, I gotta have the money, the city wants the money, but I have to have that piece of paper, by law, or they don't exist. And what people don't realize is they're breaking their genealogy, because there's no way to stop.
Sure.
So we don't mind they do it, we just need to know. And that's how we find out, because they're in the casket or they're in the thing, and then a family member will come out and we're like, I don't know how much has been done, couldn't tell you, on the numbers. So I just want to let you know, those have been sent out to the locals and the other ones we use, just to make sure, yeah, it may be an opening fee, but it's a burial per person fee. We're just trying to state that a little bit more. Haven't had a lot of complaints, and actually, end of this month, we're doing one on Saturday, husband and wife, and they let us know, so we'll have all the paperwork and everything. So, anyway, so you know that. Other than that, I think if you would like to look at the budget, we can head there. If you don't have any questions on anything else. Don't know if you want a minute to look at it, if you want me to just go down and talk about it. Let me just kind of give you the overview.
Yeah, just give us an overview.
Yeah, okay. As far as wages, you gotta understand, this is a proposal. With everybody, there's a lot of hoops that Jerry and the gang has to go through to make all this happen. But the mayor wanted a 3% increase for the employees. So that's what you see in wages. Health insurance, I was telling Jerry, this health plan we have, I don't know how to describe it, but I've not seen anything other like it. I think it's very good for us. He had us put in 10%. He had us go back and work it at 4% and said it might be less than that. And that's a good thing. It really is overall. It means we're staying healthier, we're getting stuff done, and with the wellness dollars they're using in different things. So that's kind of a good thing. So that's, yeah, as you see, is a 4% increase. Office supplies, some of these I'll go through. They look like a huge increase, but they're really not. I mean, as far as cash value, which I like to go that way instead of percentages, but office supplies, we went up 500, which took it up 25%. 22, we stayed the same. 23, which is my repair and maintenance. We did go up a couple $1,000s there. Things are getting very expensive when things break, and I just gotta have a little more money to cover me there. You go down to communications, that's more software. Went up 1,000 on there. The fleet insurance, that's, Lynn tells us that went up 5%, so we went up about 1,000 there also.
When you do this, is that, I don't mean to interrupt, but is that a citywide thing, or is it just for your department?
What's that?
I mean, as far as goes these increases, is that?
I determine everything but wage and our fleet insurance.
Just for your department?
My department.
Okay.
Yeah, every department go different, and perfect example is the fleet insurance and stuff.
Yeah.
You take me compared to Dustin, totally different ballgame.
Yeah,
His is probably gonna go up more, follow me,
Yeah.
because there's more
Right.
machinery, more
sure,
and that kind of stuff.
yeah.
But Lynn watches that when they make it, we're all under the same blanket.
Right,
And they're telling us what, to go up. So I'm sorry, I should leave my glasses on. Because I can't see. His 5% is gonna be larger than my 5%.
sure, I
If
got
that's
you.
what you're asking.
Yeah, that's fine.
Everything else we dictate. I mean, now you gotta understand is, 22 is what my fuel comes out of. Dustin and Scott Whitaker are the two that battle that out to try to get us the best deal in the world for that.
Right.
In fact, they're getting ready to, I think, put that out for bid for next year. It's Lassus does our fuel, and with the diesel backup, but we co-op at the diesel because it's a little better fuel, cheaper. And then in that, they also, with the diesel quote, they do my clear fuel, which is non-ethanol. That's what I run at the cemetery for all my equipment. That's what keeps my equipment running better than ethanol will separate. And in a weed whacker, I think I've told you before, it'll separate and blow the head out of it.
Oh, yeah.
I was changing weed whackers every 2 years. This year I just replaced two, that was 2013. So I'm getting
Oh,
more
wow,
life
yeah.
out of it.
Yeah.
Not that we haven't rebuilt carbs, dumps.
Right,
sure.
I mean, we were able to keep them. So with that clear fuel, I have a 500-gallon tank, yes, on my clear fuel. It'll be filled 6-8 times.
Oh, yeah.
But police comes, fire comes, streets comes, and gets that. They ride on, we separate the bill, send it in. So they run all their so street smoke crew comes with their 100-gallon tank, and so they can go out and mow and stuff, because it's so much better to run on your mowers. There's places here in town, so I run it on my mower. Your equipment will last so much longer with that non-ethanol. Don't ever want to put it in cars, but too much. But anyway, so that's at 22. 23 is more repair maintenance, different stuff we need, or wrenches, or different things like that, so you understand. Gas, electric, all that stuff. You kind of look what you're doing, seeing how you're covered. You really don't know if they're going to make a price increase. Different stuff. That's kind of hard to judge, and when you're doing it this early. 36, which is my tree removal and stuff, I was actually able, the computer security at the shop, which I left on there, actually was put in, so that cut it down a little bit to 14%. So we went from 25.7 to 22.5. Tools and especially tools and equipment, uniforms, that's uniform price went up a little bit, so that's why you see an increase there. Comes out of that one. Machinery and equipment, I was able to go down about $5,000 in that, so that's what you see in the overall.
Mhm.
So overall budget roughly was 802,977. That's what was actual, not what you approved last year, because of the line 1 cuts and line 2 cuts. So that's the actual, or what I'm operating on this year. So what you see for the new proposal is 850,933 for the standard budget currently. I was telling Jerry before, Joe did his job. He called me last year when they got everything done and they all met, said, "Hey, Hal, I need you to cut $100,000. I thought he was joking. It was between throwing up. He was not joking. He was trying to get down. I wasn't able to do 100. I did 57,000. I cut out of different stuff. And I told Jerry, it puts a squeeze on you.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't
Yeah.
pad a lot of stuff. I have some extra for except labor, just because if we have a storm or something like that, it's overtime and things like that. But it's so hard to do it this early, I'm not gonna lie, because there's a lot of people and businesses haven't decided what they're going up, and you guys all aware of that, so that's, anyway, so, what, 48,000 roughly? More. If you go to page 2, this is where you, this is the perm account, okay, this is the non-taxable account. This is developed over the years, many years of half-lot sales at Oakwood Cemetery, so you know where this money comes from. Lynn and I invest, I believe we just dropped a little bit below $1 million, I think we're 900 and some thousand dollars, and we invest in 2 large chunks. This is what allows me to do the walls, do the stuff, your water lines, asphalting, all that stuff. So it takes it out, it takes a little blunt out of the taxable account. I am up a little bit. The reason for that was we're gonna go into remodeling the chapel, which we haven't talked about. We're gonna put new carpet and some new tile work in there. Working on a quote now, or got samples. And of course, the water line, I put in 10,000 to get started with what we need to do. Stonework in that 45 is that walkway, and there's another wall section I have to tear out and rebuild. It's collapsing. So you know there. Other than that, of course, the 5,000 for trees. 30,000 is it says asphalt. That can be asphalt. That can be
Shoot and chip.
the different stuff to rejuvenate the roads, different things. Safety net, I've never finished my asphalt. A lot of what I want done is in the old section, and it's not fun. So we kind of put that on hold. It's okay, it's holding up, but we want to get it done eventually. This year I didn't do a whole lot of asphalting. I did transfer some money for some other stuff. Dustin did that one section, and then back by the rugged cross, we put a new wall around that. And he's got some patchwork he's gonna do here as soon as he heads my way. So that went up 23, as you see, 82,000 to 101.5. Typically, I don't use all that. A lot of that will just stay in that account and go back. So it's kind of my wish list, and then we just see what we can do. And like I say, some of it's a judgment, I'm not too sure. The chapel remodel, I don't think will exceed that or even come close, but I'm not too sure. He wasn't able to quote me because of samples and stuff, but that carpet is original. What I want to do is, if you've been to the chapel, is you come in the doors, the side doors, we're going to do like that planking stuff, vinyl straight through, down the hallway to the bathrooms. And the rest will be carpet.
That'd be nice.
So as when people track in, it'll be a little easier to clean, maybe get that part of it done and then transition over. The podium where it sits is a raise of about 8 inches. We didn't do a bad job redoing the carpet. I had termites, I had to tear that out, rebuild it all. Have the termite, and so we kind of tucked and stapled. We're not carpet layers, so it needs to be done. Not too many people can tell, but I can. So that'll be. Yeah, it looks pretty good, but I'm not a carpet layer. Well, we try. I'm not glad. I have a good crew. We try to do a lot of stuff in house. That's the whole idea here. So other than that, questions on the budget?
Nope.
We're all happy with
Right.
the breakdowns and everything? You're okay with all that?
It's brilliant.
It's good.
Hmm?
It's brilliant.
It's brilliant. I don't know
Yes.
if it's brilliant, but so far, this will be my 16th year.
It's time consuming.
It is.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
is.
It is.
Well, and as far as the little guy running the stuff, and then when they go, oh, by the way, do this,
Yeah.
you're like, what?
What?
Yeah, but it's okay. Everybody had to do it. Because I do all the budgets. I don't have, Leanne will help print these off. If you would, if you okay that, if I can have, I guess there's enough of you here to okay this, I would appreciate that. So
I
it's
shall
in the
move.
minutes.
I shall move.
Okay, have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Nay? Don't say anything, dear. You can't vote anymore. All right, if you would be so kind, in the back here, I signed it, if you just sign down in there somewhere, that would be absolutely lovely, and then I'll get Ken's, I'll have him look at it, go over anything with me to see if he has changed. I don't think we didn't get to talk about Memorial Day. I don't know if anybody made it. It was a nice performance. I give this man a ton. If it wasn't for him, it wouldn't happen.
Sure.
It just flat out wouldn't happen. So hopefully he continues. We had a decent crowd.
One thing I'd like to see out there,
and I don't know what it costs, but the sound system, you know, I was sitting back, I don't know, from here over to, almost to across the street. But I could hear all right, but I'm sure there's some other people around
No,
that,
he doesn't get to sign. He'll sign, he's a
Oh,
big dog.
okay.
yeah.
I go in front of him to settle.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm sure there's a
Right.
few other people
Yeah.
that behind me that probably couldn't hear near as well, but,
And that would be the Legion, and they do have a new sound system, and to be honest with you, it's a good one, but I don't think they turned it in.
well, they need to learn how to whistle it up a little bit. Maybe.
I will say that if it still happens.
Okay.
And I'm just saying that, I don't know, because he's not getting a ton of support from there on this. And I hope it keeps going. But
Really?
if it, I'm not, that's why I say if it wasn't,
I thought he did an excellent job.
on a side, I mean, the thing is, this is for them to honor their fallen
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, yeah.
And he went down and had a meeting with them. He told me privately and said, hey, we need to get together. And they go, well, no, you're doing it. That's not too good of an answer, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I hope, but there's not a lot of new ones coming up through the things. And Ken's trying to explain that to them. If they don't try to build or get on, then nobody's gonna honor them,
Right.
which would be sad.
Yeah.
It really would. So I don't know. I hope it continues. We'll do all we can. We're trying to pick up some of the stuff and make sure things, but this year they had a lot of guys come and set up the flags and the different stuff. And like I say, the sound system is it's not the old one they had before. So, and I knew they have a new, whatever you call it, amp and different stuff. And I don't know why. I could hear it. I had my boys work it where I normally was, so I could actually watch one. I've watched one. I've been there 16 years. I've been down at so it was fun to sit back and kind of listen to it and see what's going on. And it was cool that ROTC was there,
Oh, yeah.
and they were there. That was really kind of cool. So,
Yeah.
and they did the walking, so the veterans just had to go walk to Legion 3, and then the ROTC went to the 2, and then walked down there, and they just fired at 3. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I've got to go.
Okay, meeting adjourned. There we go. Thank you.
Thanks.
You all good, ma'am?
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah.